welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and you are here with me for our weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing the 29th of July 2024. Thank you so much for being here with me, and as always, the wonderful support, comments, shares, you name it, that you bring to the channel, to the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. So we are here right at the tail end of July, just a couple of days left in the month before we hit into August. And so before we look into this last weekly overview of the month, let us just recap last week and see what were we up to last week with the I Ching, because we had Hexagram 19 approach, that wonderful energy of the great approaching that which is small. Us being the little fish frozen in the lake, right? And the sun is coming out and the springtime is turning and bringing that warmth and wonderful vitality back, thawing everything out, giving us an opportunity to move into warmer, better times. And we had that lovely changing line of wealth, connection, opportunity comes. Be generous with the blessing that comes in. Give and share freely to others, whether that's information or sharing or teaching or communication. As you are gifted, find ways to gift the people that are closest to you, that depend on you, that are connected to you. And we also had Hexagram 41, decrease, getting laser beam focused, putting down what is excess, unnecessary, wasteful, and getting really laser beamed, around what's really important. How did you experience these two hexagrams last week? What did you feel? Was this energy coming in, or was it so nebulous that you couldn't quite put your finger on it, but you could feel it? What was it? Maybe it was something really, really specific of that opportunity that came in, this big opportunity that moves in to support and assist you, and of course, encouraging us to share that blessing. And where did the focus come? Where were we challenged to invest, and reduce what's in the bank account because we're investing now, or to put time and energy into something that's really important, to build something that's important, to put our focus back on the critical things that we must focus on in the time to come. So if there was anything that came up for you, please do share a comment. This week, we have a locked hexagram. It means no changing lines, no pops of change. There's only one hexagram for us to work through. So likely short and sweet this week as we connect to hexagram 9, the small accumulates, or the small tames. This hexagram is all about the small stuff. And what is definitely contradicted in this flow of energy is big picture thinking, being the eagle up in the sky, bird's eye view, strategic, coming up with new ideas, being in that place. That is not what this week's energy is all about. We are farmers, and with this energy, with this hexagram, we have a farm. You can choose what kind of farm you would like, whether it is cattle and sheep and pigs or whatever, whether it is mixed plus agriculture, whether you are farming cotton or what is it that if you had to have a farm, wine farm, there we go, brilliant idea, so pick the farm. Let's go with the wine farm idea, because I kind of might be going in that direction if I had to farm something. Don't say anything. Wine farm, right, put into that whatever other farm you want to be a farm of. We are playing farmer this week, so choose your farm type. And we are farmers. What do farmers do? They get up extremely early at the same time every day. They have crops and animals that are dependent on them. They've got to get up early. They've got to get the day going early. They've got crew, right? And there are things that need to be done. On a farm, there is always work to do. And the work is paying attention to the crops, paying attention to the sun, paying attention to the water and the antibiotics, natural or otherwise. You've got to look after tweaking the resources and really being in present detail with what's happening with your crop, Your animals, how are they? Is there a feeling in the herd that there's a problem? How are your grapes doing? How is the sun looking? How is the weather going to impact you? Are the plants too wet? Are their feet wet? What are all the little conditions all the time, all the little things that come along that are also beyond your control, like the weather, that we pay attention to? Okay. And so when we farm, every tree grows in a slightly different way, okay? Every type of cow and every cow grows in a different way. There's a pattern, but there are anomalies and there are things that need to be worked around, okay? Calving season, etc. So the analogy I'm trying to create for you is that this week's energy, we are grounded, okay? We are grounded in the reality. Different to Hexagram 62, where it's attention to detail. We are working through a lot of different things, little things that have come across our desk. Lots of plants, lots of cattle, lots of issues with cattle, lots of issues with plants. And so when we work with this hexagram, we can experience a week where it feels like there are 10 million unrelated random things thrown at us from every angle. Okay, there are 10,000 trees, right? And every tree has got something that needs its attention over, different things. So you feel the experience that when you work with this hexagram, it can be that there's just a lot of action, a lot of things, and they all are small things. And so what we can do is we can get into the headspace of, oh, all these things are, dragging me down. These are such small things that seem so complicated. Why can't we get into the big stuff, into the strategy stuff? Okay, so that might be the experience of how you're feeling the week. What we have to recognize is that in this week, taking care of the small things, every grapevine, okay, every cow, every pig, whatever it is, taking care of each one accumulates value when you put it together with all of them. It's in a way the idea of that old fable with the rice, where, you get one rice grain and then double the rice grains tomorrow. I can't remember the exact details, but someone was challenged, like, take the cash now, or I'll give you 1 grain of rice and double it every day. So you see the cash as a lump sum and you think, wow, this is amazing, right? A big lump sum. But when you actually work out the exponential value of multiplying a grain of rice, a small thing, every day, over and over and over and over, you get this incremental power that builds over time. That is this hexagram. What it does is it connects us to the incremental value of doing the small things well every day. If you are a meditator, I do have a meditation that speaks to this idea of incremental value in our goal setting, which you can find on Insight Timer. And you look at my profile under Belinda Doveston, you'll find it there. And it ties to this idea of this grain of rice multiplying and multiplying. So if you want to work with this hexagram, it's not a meditation tied to this hexagram per se, but it ties to the idea of this rice multiplying that's very closely tied to this hexagram. So we are dealing with the small things, we're investing in them, and we are doing that because we understand that the incremental value over time of doing the small things well adds huge amount of value. I often experience this when I spend time doing like social media posts and things, and you get a lot of immediate feedback when perhaps you've been not so good and you've been slipping. And I often get reminded, these small things actually really do make a difference. And if I had to just keep on doing these things on a regular basis, work-wise, what could be built over time? The consistency. So that's another dimension to think about. Where might your attention be drawn into, where caring for the small things every day creates that incremental value, and more needs to be done to invest and invest and invest and invest. Okay, think about that. Think about where you can care for the small things and they accumulate into the great, which is a different approach to accumulating the great and then making use of the great. This is accumulating the small, and the small incrementally adds up to greatness. A very interesting, wonderful hexagram where if you're worried about the small stuff, you're going to be in trouble this week. But if you love the small things and you love caring for all the little plants, okay, this is going to be fabulous for you. And we're all going to reap benefit if we invest and focus and just care for the little things. The little things matter this week. Thank you so much. If this is meaningful to you, you know what to do. Okay, a thumbs up or a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe will be really great To make sure that new episodes come straight into your app, same with the podcast version, hit that follow button so that the audio comes into your app every week. And on that note, have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you very soon for our August overview for the whole month, because this weekly kind of dips its toe across into August, so we're almost there. So next up you'll hear from me is the monthly forecast for August. Can you believe it? I'll be there, you'll be there, and I look forward to connecting with you very soon.